We have Mark back on the line. Mark, we obviously know LeBron is in hashtag year 21. What hashtag year are you in right now, NBA wise?
31.
Wow. Wow.
Proud to say it too, guys. When I started, I think I told you guys this. I was so young. I looked like I was about 12. They used to call me Junior when I started on the Clipper beat. So I love actually being an old head now. I absolutely love it.
Wow. Okay.
I'm Udonis Haslam. That's what
You know what?
That's my role.
I think your usage rate is a little higher than Udonis Haslam. I don't know if Haslam would even put out a newsletter, you know?
I have had the luxury of reading, I believe, 3 Marc Stein newsletters already in my inbox, but they're always great. Keep it coming. I know you gave the show a big plug. You put our logo in the newsletter. You gave Blake the shout out for the assist on making the list. So yeah, Mark,
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I truly love the logo. The logo is awesome. I'm a big logo guy, so I'm quite impressed by whoever made that for you guys.
Will, the logo predates me, but that was Drake Serial, right?
That was Drake Serial, who is a great artist based in Toronto and also in Portland, who was able to help us make this logo. Okay, let's talk about the in-season tournament games last night. So we already discussed like the controversial timeout call. I mean, it was the wrong decision, unfortunately, but I think that it was still a really great game. Looking at LeBron versus KD. Potentially in the last time they play each other in like a one-game winner takes all. So the stakes were great too. But yeah, Mark, what were your thoughts on that game in particular, and also just how the in-season tournament is unfolding now that it's almost reaching its climax, really?
Yeah, I mean, the call was a huge disappointment because it just takes the focus off where it should be, which is, like you guys said, we should be marveling at a nearly 39-year-old LeBron. KD just turned 35 in October. We should just be reveling in every ounce of these guys dueling because, I mean, it's crazy the way they played on Christmas Day in 2018. And then for one reason or another, at least one of them missed the next 13 matchups. And now this season, we've already seen them 3 times, which, we want to see these guys as many more times as we can. But I would say in general, this week, to me, it's validated, if I can be somewhat self-congratulatory here, it's validated all my complaints about it. The knockout stage, this is what we've wanted. This is what makes it good. This is why everybody is loving this week, because it's one game, win or go home, and that's different. That's new. We don't have that in the NBA. And to me, that's the core of what can make the in-season tournament compelling and different and new. And, the players, I mean, the league has to be thrilled how into this the players are. I mean, you heard Kevin Durant sit at his locker after a game when, the Suns rightfully could have been fuming. And let's face it, I think Frank Vogel and Devin Booker were fuming. And KD was sitting there talking about how much, how he's become such a fan of this thing. And I just hope going forward there's even more single elimination, because I think that is what is going to give this thing a life of its own and a lasting place in the league.
So what does that look like for you, Mark, the more single elimination? Is it expanding who gets through to 16, say, and just having this, knockout stage part run, say, 2 weeks instead of 1 week? Is it changing how teams are qualifying in the first place? Because I know you were a little unenthused with the group stage.
For me, it's easy, but it's not my league. But for me, I think the whole league, we go to Vegas for 2 weeks and we just play this thing out. And it's single elimination all the way. And look, the league office, these guys are very smart. They know what they're doing. I promise you they have a longer list of concepts and ideas than I do. The reason they didn't go, the reason they didn't go that route is because, look, the FA Cup and the League Cup in England are by no means perfect. What happens in those competitions? The so-called big teams, the teams that are in the Champions League, will often rest guys for those competitions because the best teams in English soccer or Italian soccer or German soccer or Spanish soccer, the best teams prioritize the league championship and the Champions League, and then the cups within their countries take on a lower priority, and so they don't always play their guys. And that's what the NBA didn't want to do. The NBA didn't want to make the in-season tournament completely separate and then see potentially teams say, you know what, we're going to rest our main guys because we don't want to risk them getting hurt. So they made group stage part of the regular season to combat that. I totally understand it, but I think to make this thing more compelling, it has to be separate from the regular season. And I just, I don't know how long it's going to take them to get there, but if you're putting the magic wand in my hand, that's what I would do. Let's go to Vegas for, I don't even think you would need 2 full weeks to do it. Let's, 4 seeds based on, standings or however you want to determine the top 4 seeds, put the other 26 teams in a hat, figure out the draw, and let's do it. Let's single elimination, mix it up, East and West, crazy draws. That's what I would like to see at some point. But look, they're getting many more positive reviews at this point than negative, so I don't think they're terribly concerned about what I have to say. I think they're pretty happy with year one, and there will be tweaks going forward, but something tells me they'll be more gradual than I would vote for.
Right. I feel like the league definitely owes Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers a lot of credit for this too, because when people think back to great moments in the inaugural in-season tournament run, they'll think about their win against the Celtics, and Tyrese obviously playing a huge, massive part of that performance. Halliburton in particular, right? We know that he's already reached an all-star level, but when we're thinking about the next breakout candidates, not just breaking out to NBA fans, but breaking out as one of those like top-tier names, the ones that even casual fans will be able to identify and be able to recognize. Is Halliburton already in that class in terms of like, he's going to be one of these future household names, even though he plays in Indiana?
Yes, because we're now finally getting to see him. And by we, I mean the nation at large. I mean, he's openly spoken about. He was never on TNT before this week.
Yeah.
So this season with the All-Star game in Indianapolis, with this cup run that the Pacers are on, and now this is, again, something that the league has gotten right. I don't want to always focus on what I don't like about the in-season tournament. Let's. Sorry, guys, I'm still not shaking this illness, so apologies for that.
Oh, no
worries. The Pacers are making, your classic soccer cup run, and that was something. This was exactly what the league was hoping for. This was one of the things that really mattered to them. Adam Silver has spoken about this a million times, watching in world soccer that, the best teams in the world, they get to play for 3 or 4 trophies a year, not just one. And in our culture, in North American team sports, it's just you got to win the championship or your season was a failure. The Indiana Pacers are not a contender to win the NBA championship, but can they win a knockout competition? Can they, they're 5-0 in the tournament right now. Can they win 2 more games? And, a cup run and a Cinderella championship for Indiana would mean a huge deal. I mean, for the Pacers, the Pelicans too. Zion Williamson has still never played in a playoff game. He's never played in a play-in game. So I think for those 2 teams, the opportunity to win this trophy, it really is something. But I think a fascinating question, and we don't know the answer to it yet, how will whoever wins this thing, how are they going to celebrate?
Right.
Are they going to celebrate it like they would winning it all? I don't think so. But, would the Indiana Pacers or the New Orleans Pelicans or even the Bucks, would they hang a banner if they win this thing? And conversely, would the Lakers, given that, they have all these championships and they're trying to, outdo the Boston Celtics, would the Lakers hang a banner if they win the in-season tournament? And we don't know the answer to these questions yet, but I think that is kind of a fascinating element of this.
It is. The other thing that has me pretty fascinated, other than the games themselves and how people react to the hardware and the cash. It's a lot of cash at this point. There's a lot of money on the line every possession. But the other question is, what is it going to look like in Vegas? Mark, have you heard anything yet about like what the league has planned for this neutral site, what it could look or feel like when we get underway tomorrow?
Well, I can't answer probably the foremost question, which I think is what you're getting at here, is Milwaukee, Indiana is playing at 2 local time. What kind of crowd are we going to see at 2 local time on a Thursday? When the Lakers play, you don't have to worry about the crowd. I'm sure you guys have both been to Summer League.
Yeah.
You know Vegas is a Laker town. Lakers Summer League games sell out. So they're going to have no trouble filling the gym when it's Lakers Pelicans in the night game Thursday night. But, look, if it was my team, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, if the Raptors were in this, you would be thinking, okay, can we get ourselves to Vegas? Can on short notice, can we travel? Can we get there? Milwaukee and Indiana are not exactly next door to Vegas. Are their fans going to travel? Now, I do think Vegas is a basketball town and an NBA craze town. And to me, I'm optimistic about the crowd because, again, Summer League has become such a huge industry, and Summer League attracts so many fans. Those are games that don't even count. Team USA plays in Vegas. Those games don't count. This is going to be a game that counts. So I think there will be a crowd, but look, is that crowd going to care about the Bucks and the Pacers? What kind of atmosphere are we going to see? That really is a wait and see deal. And what if we get Pacers Pelicans in Saturday's title game? Is that going to be a bonanza like a Lakers whoever matchup in the finals? Probably not.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting test done by obviously an American organization in the NBA. I know Canada's in it, but mostly an American organization of what Americans choose to do when it comes to fandom. Because you and I, are both avid soccer watchers. In fact, I actually have one eye kept on Liverpool versus in their match right now. So Sheffield United they're playing, which is not an enticing match. But regardless, we know that it doesn't matter if I know you're a City fan. If City fans, if Manchester City is playing in Ukraine, or if they're playing in Turkey, or if they're playing in Romania, I guess they haven't really done this for a while because you guys are always in Champions League. Fans will travel to those countries. They'll create those atmospheres.
I have friends who've been watching City since the 60s.
Okay, yeah. So there you go.
They go everywhere when City has a exhibition tour here in the summer or they go anywhere that City goes. And obviously Liverpool has fans that do the exact same thing. And I mean, you guys tell me if the Raptors were in the semis, you guys would be saying we got to get to Vegas. I'm sure you would.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what the NBA is banking on, is that there is this appetite for people to travel. And I think that maybe the NCAA tournament is an example of this, where it's Duke fans will go to wherever the tournament is that year and they will cheer on their team. And hopefully that's the same case. But, you never know. And I guess that is a big question mark for Adam and the rest of the league. If we want to pivot off of the in-season tournament, I want to look at the rookies too, because I feel like this time of year, typically we would be looking at maybe some kind of trade speculation, maybe a little bit MVP talk, a little award season. And of course, that's sort of been dominated now by in-season tournament. Chet beats out Wemby for the first rookie of the month. And I totally get it. Obviously, Chet has been off to an amazing start, but I feel like we're almost overlooking Wemby a little bit too. You put in your latest newsletter that he's the first teenager in quite some time, if not ever, to average 20 and 10 for a month as a teenager. So your thoughts on just those two rookies in particular in this class, which is looking really promising, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chet has been fantastic and the Thunder are winning. That's really what it comes down to. And the league office picks those awards. It's not a media thing. There's no voting on it. But, obviously the Thunder are winning games and the Spurs are in a hellacious losing streak. But, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you cited those numbers because I think it is important to note that, the Spurs have no shooting. They're playing Sohan at point guard, which is, experimental to put it politely. And, he is not. Wembanyama is playing with nothing close to the finished article in terms of a lineup around him, and is still producing. I mean, obviously the shot isn't where he'd like it to be, but he struggled shooting the 3 ball in Europe. every season before he came here, so I wasn't expecting him to be a 40% knockdown three-point shooter in year one anyway. The fact, again, I think the thing about him is that, with all the expectations, he doesn't seem fazed by that. And because they're losing, a lot of the attention has faded away, which is probably helping him, to be honest. But, I mean, he's still been pretty special. And I'm guessing he hasn't been to Toronto yet, right? I mean,
No.
I haven't even looked.
No.
Whenever he's there, you guys will be, I'm sure, trying to make your way to that game too, because it is a spectacle when the man is playing.
Yeah, to continue this soccer theme conversation, I was kind of really hoping for this to become like a Messi Ronaldo type of thing with Chet and Wemby, except in basketball, it's just these two giant noodle people. But we'll see. We will see if we get to that level. But so far, so good for both those rookies. And yeah, okay. We've kind of run out of time. So
real quick, since
okay,
you
go
brought
ahead.
up Liverpool, have you been to Anfield?
I have not. It's a life goal of mine to go there and probably touch the sign, but probably not touch the sign.
You must. It is an absolute cathedral. Amazing place.
Yeah, when they fully finish the renovations and expand the capacity to like 60,000 or whatever, maybe I'll have more room to get in there. But how far in advance do I need to book for tickets? By the way, is it like I gotta?
It is not easy, but I think you guys have good practice because what everybody tells me, there's no tougher ticket in sports than a Leafs ticket. So I'm sure you got.
You know what? Now I understand. Now I understand how difficult it is. So Marc Stein, I appreciate you, and we'll call you next week. All right.
All right, guys. Be good.